Very good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the current affairs classes. I hope you all are doing well and your preparation for IRDAI is also going well. Can anyone please let me know, is the audio and video all good? Please let me know, audio video all clear? All right. So let's resume our current affairs discussion from 26th, 27th October. We will be covering the news analysis. Up to 25th October, we have covered already, right? So let's begin. The first section, ESI Finance and Business News. First, you have the think tank, a think tank named as National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, the NIPFP. You must have heard this name. So, New Delhi-based think tank, National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, during its mid-year review, has revised the growth forecast for India downwards. So, it has revised the growth forecast downwards basically, okay, to 6.9, within a range of 6.9 to 7.1%. This is a downward revision of the growth forecast by this think tank. What is the reason? Reason basically is growth moderation. There's a sharp contraction in net exports as well as government consumption has declined. So two factors have been highlighted here. Okay, first is sharp contraction in net exports. So this growth, the revised trajectory of growth, which has been revised downwards, primarily comes out of two reasons, remember. Fall in net exports. That means our net exports are falling. That is contributing to this downward growth. Plus some shortfall in the government consumption expenditure as well. These are the primary factors. Okay. Earlier estimate was within the range of 7.1 to 7.4%. But now the range is 6.9 to 7.1%. Okay. So you can remember this. Now moving on to the regulatory bodies news. In regulatory bodies news, you have RBI revoking the certificate of authorization to UAE Exchange Center LLC. Now what is this UAE Exchange Center LLC? This basically works as a mechanism for remitting for inbound remittances basically. It facilitates international online transactions coming to India, right? So this is one of them, and RBI has cancelled or say revoked the certificate of authorization to this UAE Exchange Center LLC for operating as a cross-border inbound money transfer operator for non-compliance with the regulatory requirements. As I told you, what does it do? It helps in cross-border transfer of payments, right? This is something which not only facilitates payments from UAE but across the countries. So it is a mechanism, it facilitates the cross-border payments not only coming into India from UAE but across all the countries, remember, right? Why this has been revoked? Due to certain violation of the regulatory norms and guidelines by RBI. Clear? So remember this name, UAE Exchange Center LLC ka certificate of authorization has been revoked by RBI. And this action has been taken under Section 8 of the Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007. Okay, remember it has been revoked under Section 8 of the Payment and Settlements Act due to non-compliance. If you read about the UAE Exchange Center LLC, it was established in the year 1983 and it is registered with the Ministry of Commerce, approved by the Central Bank of Kuwait. I hope this is clear, right? Yes, these current affairs sessions, they will be sufficient for all your examinations. If you see the thumbnail, you will find the banking examinations, current affairs are also covered, right? That would be more than sufficient. You can follow this religiously. Okay, this was the news. Now next thing which we have is Indian banks, they have increased. So there's a data, we have a data by RBI. Since the data is coming from RBI, so becomes important for you. Remember, Reserve Bank of India's 23-24 round of its survey on the international trade in banking services. Data on international trade in banking services by RBI has been there. What does it say? It says Indian banks have increased their overseas presence during 23-24. Indian banks, they have increased their overseas presence during 23-24. Okay. Now, both in terms of balance sheet size, that means the lending activity, deposit taking activity, asset allocation, etc., etc. So assets and liabilities on the in the terms of balance sheet size, it has increased its foreign operations plus number of branches and employees. So this is not only about opening up of new number of branches overseas, hiring more employees in new branches. This is also in terms of enhancing your business overseas, in terms of your expansion of balance sheet, right? So remember, this report says Indian banks have increased their presence. Now, if you look at separate figures, banks' employee strength, it has increased by 8.2% in overseas branches, by 8.2% in the overseas branches, and 1.7% in the subsidiaries. So 8.2% is in the overseas branches and 1.7% in the subsidiary branches. Okay. Then during the same year, number of branches and employees of foreign banks in India, number of branches and employees of foreign banks operating in India, they have also expanded by 0.6% and 1.4% respectively. So this is not only Indian banks expanding their operations into onto foreign land, it is also foreign banks expanding their operations on Indian soil, right? But if you look at the consolidated balance sheets of your overseas branches, subsidiaries of Indian banks, consolidated balance sheets of all these branches, their subsidiaries, etc., etc., it also grew by 4.3% and 0.4% respectively. While if you look at the consolidated balance sheets of foreign banks in India, it recorded higher increase of 7.2% in the US dollar terms, or in terms of US dollars. So this is the thing. And if you look at the overseas branches of Indian banks, they recorded 8.8% growth in the deposits, while lending declined marginally by 0.8% during the year. Okay. So you can just remember this fact that deposits, they have increased by 8.8%, but lending activities has declined, but that is not very substantial. The decline is not very substantial. It is only marginal, that is 0.8%. So this is some data on the foreign operations of banking services of India by RBI. I hope this is clear, everyone. Now moving on to the banking news. In banking news, we have MobiKwik. You all know about MobiKwik. So MobiKwik has launched instant fixed deposit product, instant FD. MobiKwik ne instant FD it has launched. What are the peculiar features? Let's see on its mobile app. And this has been done in partnership with the financial services firms. Minimum investment required in this FD will be ₹1,000. Minimum investment is 1,000 rupees. Interest will be up to 9.5% per annum. That is quite good rate of interest, right? And tenure is 7 days to 60 months. Now this is very flexible and interesting, isn't it? Because FD, generally people, why do they look upon FD is the fixed tenure and long tenure. But if you have 7 days FD as well, that is going to be beneficial, right? It will help in mobilizing the household savings into more productive purposes. So 7 days to 6 months will be the tenure. That is quite innovative. And 9.5% per annum will be the interest rate. Via this, it aims to provide security of fixed deposit bookings made on its platform through partnership with RBI regulated small finance banks and NBFCs. So these financial services firms it has partnered with, okay, like Suryodaya Small Finance Bank, like Bajaj Finance, others, etc., etc. So just remember this MobiKwik instant fixed deposit product, minimum investment 1,000 rupees, interest up to 9.5% and tenure 7 days to 60 months. Then next, we have international subsidiary, the national subsidiary of your NPCI, NIPL, National Payment Corporation of India International Payments Limited. It has partnered with AI Etihad Payments. So it has basically partnered with AI Okay, just a second. Is the audio clear? Anyone, please? Is the audio clear? All right. So, international subsidiary of NPCI, your NPCI, International Payments Limited, has partnered with, not AI, Al Etihad Payments to launch domestic card scheme J1 in UAE. So remember, this domestic card scheme J1 has been introduced in UAE. This is in partnership between National Payments Corporation of India's International Payments Limited, which is international subsidiary of your NPCI, and Al Etihad Payments. Now, what does this aim? This domestic card scheme J1, which has been introduced in UAE, it is basically based on RuPay's card stack. So this is integration of your India's indigenous payment network system RuPay, providing a range of services. Basically, via this, the UAE payment system and Indian RuPay system is going to be integrated. So this is going to provide a lot of RuPay based services. Okay, so this J1 card is based on India's RuPay card stack developed by NPCI, which has been shared with AEP to enable the UAE's digital payment sovereignty. Now this makes the UAE first country in the Gulf Cooperation Council region to adopt the RuPay stack for its domestic payments. Now this is going to be first time that a GCC country is going to adopt RuPay stack or RuPay card stack for the domestic payments. Now you just remember, this becomes important because it is the first in such GCC countries, right? So what is Gulf Cooperation Council? Gulf Cooperation Council is basically economic and social integration of all these Middle East countries. Like you have UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Oman, etc., etc., right? So this is a regional grouping, and among these countries, UAE is the first one to adopt such RuPay stack. That's why this becomes important. And remember, this is a partnership with your NPCI international subsidiary, NICL, and your Al Etihad Payments. And as I told you, it is going to integrate the RuPay payment system with that of the UAE. So UPI from India and ANI from UAE. ANI we have seen a lot of times in the current affairs as well. UPI from India and ANI from UAE. They are trying to foster these integration of payment networks in order to enhance the online transactions and payment settlement. I hope this is clear. Now moving on to the national and state news. In the national, first one we have the National Center for Good Governance. National Center for Good Governance has successfully concluded its first mid-career training program for civil servants. So this is a mid-career training program. For whom? For civil servants. Okay. From the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation Nations. So BIMSTEC nations, from BIMSTEC nations, your BIMSTEC. The National Center for Good Governance has successfully concluded training program of civil servants from your BIMSTEC nations. What is this BIMSTEC? BIMSTEC, you must be knowing, the extension is in front of you, Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. BIMSTEC was basically established as a regional grouping in the Bay of Bengal countries for their multi-sectoral cooperation, including your economy, technical cooperation, cultural, social, etc., etc., multi-sectoral basically. So this includes your countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Thailand. These are the member countries of BIMSTEC, remember. Now this program was organized from 14th October to 25th October 2024, and location was of course Mussoorie and New Delhi. It was a 2-week program, and 36 civil servants from these BIMSTEC nations, they participated in the capacity building program. Now what was the aim? Basically the aim was to enhance the capacity of these bureaucrats. Also with the help of this program, they wanted to enhance the cooperation among the nations. So please remember, this recently held BIMSTEC nations civil services training program at Mussoorie and New Delhi. And BIMSTEC, as I told you, you can remember it was founded on 6 June 1997. It has countries like Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. Purpose: for collaboration in economic, social, technical, security, multi-sectoral collaboration and cooperation based. Then you have Airbus. Airbus has inaugurated its new India and South Asia headquarters. So you can remember this. Can be asked, Airbus has inaugurated its new India and South Asia headquarters and training center at Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. Remember, it is going to comprise 4 A320 simulators and have the capacity to train 800 pilots and 200 technicians annually. It is going to serve as epicenter for Airbus's operations in India. So this is going to be the epicenter of Airbus's operations in India, where the location is Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport. And remember, it is going to have almost 4 A320 simulators and capacity of training 800 pilots and 200 technicians, etc. What are these simulators? Simulators are basically, they create artificial environment where they get the training of operating the flight, etc. Right? So remember this thing. Next we have, now this is something really important. You have 95% of the land records in rural India digitized. It solves a lot of problems. This news is important. If you see, since 1947, when we have been dealing with agricultural issues and land record problems and land reforms, etc., primary issue which has been consistently raised is the unavailability of land records. So digitization of land records basically solves a lot of disputes and discrepancies, as well as the lack of transparency which was earlier the case. Right? Government, through its various programs, has tried to digitize all these land records. It is going to help reduce land fragmentation. It is going to help settle the land ownership claims more efficiently and quickly. So reducing the land ownership litigation, a lot of purposes it is going to solve. Right? So 95%, if you see, of land records in rural India are digitized now. So since 2016, the government has digitized land records in about 6,26,000 villages, covering almost 95% of country's villages, and computerized about 5,000 sub-registrar offices that handle such records. So it has also computerized almost 5,000 sub-registrar offices. These sub-registrar offices, they are responsible for maintaining and handling such records. For computerization of these resources, it becomes important, because if you don't computerize, the authority which holds and manages all these records, how the digitization is going to happen, right? So both the data are important. Also, they have digitized the cadastral maps. These cadastral maps, basically, they outline the boundaries and ownership of the land parcels, right? Boundaries and ownership of the land parcels. So they have also digitized the cadastral maps, and it has reached, the digitization of such maps has reached 68.02% at the national level. That is quite impressive. Additionally, 87% of sub-registrar offices, they have been integrated with land records. So now you have land records available, integrated land records available, right? Now, given these achievements and figures, the related schemes, they become important. What have been the initiatives? Let's see. So first one and the foremost, the most important, is your Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. Digital India, government has extended this, right? Government has extended the Digital India Land Records Modernization Program until 25-26 and has added new features into it. So all the new features, they also become important, and this program also becomes important for all your upcoming examinations, right? New features like Aadhaar based integration with the land records, computerization of the revenue codes, right? So if you remember the previous current affairs, we have seen Bhu Aadhaar, unique land identification number, the 14-digit alphanumeric number, right? Bhu Aadhaar. All these initiatives, they have been added. Let's see about this thing. Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. It was launched in April 2016 and this is funded 100% by the central government. Remember, aim of course is to reduce litigations around ownership and foster land administration reforms. Reduce all such litigations and foster the land administration reforms. What are the key initiatives under this? Let's see. Key initiatives are like unique land parcel identification number, as I have discussed with you. We also call it as Bhu Aadhaar, right, which is a 14-digit alphanumeric code for each land parcel based on the geographic coordinates. So this is for identification of your land parcels. Like we have our unique identity number, land parcels also have. This is Bhu Aadhaar. Then we have National Generic Document Registration System, also integrated under this National Generic Document Registration System. What does this helps? This system basically helps in modernizing and digitizing your land records, right? Having all the land records and the related information in a digitized format. Then you have e-court integration, computerizing and digitizing all the courts related to it, e-court. Then you have transliteration of land records. This is going to be very important. Sometimes what happens is, because these lands, they become they belong to rural areas and the hinterlands, sometimes language becomes a barrier in identification of the landowner, right? So translating the language is also a task in order to make all these things clear, the ownership and the land rights, etc., etc. So transliteration of land records is also being done by the government to overcome language barriers in accessing land records, so that the people, the citizens, can access all these land records in languages suitable to them, languages which they are familiar with, right? So to overcome language barriers in accessing land records, the program is transliterating land documents into any of the 22 languages listed in the Indian Constitution. So you have the 22 languages translation of these land records. This is also quite impressive. So it eliminates the language barrier. Anyone can access these land records. Then we have Bhumi Samman. Bhumi Samman. Bhumi Samman is also an incentivizing effort. Under this, 168 districts across almost 16 states, they have achieved platinum grading for completing 99% of programs' core components. What is this Bhumi Samman? This is basically achievement in digitizing the land records. How much have you been able to achieve this modernization and digitization of sub-registrar offices, e-courts, land records, etc., etc. So this incentivizes and gives you a tag, gives you an award, a recognition if you work well on this, right? So this was the thing. I hope this is clear. Everyone, Digital India Land Records Modernization Program. We have seen all the important features. Then we have another very important thing, the BRIC National Agri-Food Biomanufacturing Institute, to be launched at Mohali in Punjab. Just remember this. So please remember, this is going to be important. BRIC National Agri Food Biomanufacturing Institute, BRIC NABI, to be launched at Mohali in Punjab. So the location is Mohali, Punjab. What is the aim? The name only suggests this is for enhancing the research and innovation, research and development activities in the biotech and food processing manufacturing capacities, bio food manufacturing capacities, etc., right? To strengthen India's capabilities in your agricultural biotechnology and bioprocessing. And this establishment remember, is a merger between your National Agri Food Technology Institute, NABI, Biotechnology Institute, NABI, Mohali, and the Center of Innovative and Applied Bioprocessing, Mohali. So this is a merger between these two. Remember, this is a merger between National Agri-Food Biotechnology Institute, Mohali, and the Center of Innovative and Applied Bioprocessing, Mohali. Both these institutes are under the Department of Biotechnology. They will be trying developing high yield crops along with sustainable biomanufacturing technologies and value-added products from agri-resources in alignment with your government's vision of doubling farmers' income. This is going to enhance India's capacities and capabilities in terms of biotech processing and manufacturing. Plus, it is also going to benefit the farmers with high-yielding crops. We can double their income, right? So remember, Mohali is going to be the location. Then you have Indian Railways has launched a revised standard operating procedure. So revised SOP has been launched by Indian Railways for the protection of vulnerable children in collaboration with the Ministry of Women and Child Development. This is to protect children from trafficking, human trafficking, child trafficking, etc. Right? And it basically highlights the robust framework for safeguarding children who came into contact with the Indian Railways and to prevent child exploitation, trafficking by providing a safety net for at-risk children who have been separated from their families. So these vulnerable children who have been separated from their families, they will be the targeted persons under this revised SOP. The government is trying to protect their exploitation and trafficking, right? So remember this. For this, the purpose is of setting up anti-human trafficking units in about 262 stations across the countries to safeguard vulnerable children nationwide. Okay. And then your railways, Indian Railways is also running an operation Meri Saheli for protection of single ladies traveling in the trains. This is something you must be knowing already, Meri Saheli. So this is for women security, particularly women traveling via the Indian Railways. And remember this thing, this revised SOP, they will be establishing anti-human trafficking units in almost 262 railway stations to prevent child trafficking. Then we have Union Minister Amit Shah has inaugurated newly constructed passenger terminal building and a cargo gate named as Maitri Dwar. So this is passenger terminal building as well as a cargo gate named as Maitri Dwar. It has been inaugurated at land port in the Petrapol on India-Bangladesh border in West Bengal. So remember the location, and this Petrapol land port is situated in Uttar 24 Pargana district, West Bengal. Why this is important? Because it is Maitri Dwar, it is the largest land port in South Asia. So that's why this becomes the largest land port in South Asia. Please remember, that's why. Okay. And the border, the location is India-Bangladesh border, West Bengal. Then we have National Center for Good Governance has successfully completed its 34th capacity building program for civil servants of Maldives in New Delhi. So the 34th capacity building program was held for civil servants. Location was New Delhi, civil servants of Maldives. So it has completed this program and it was attended by 35 civil servants from Maldives. Duration was 2 weeks. It was organized in collaboration with the Ministry of External Affairs, where they train almost 1,000 Maldivian civil servants. Then you have Swiggy launching a new feature, international login. Now in the Swiggy, to get all these services of food delivery, Instamart, etc., Swiggy Dine Out, Swiggy Jenny, Swiggy Instamart, etc., etc., you can also use the international number. So there is a new facility being provided by Swiggy International Login, where the non-resident Indians from across 27 countries, if you are here, you can also log in with that to avail the services. So now there will be international login facility as well on the Swiggy. This was about the national news category. All news we have covered. Now let's see the state one. You have Prime Minister dedicating the gauge conversion. So what are these gauges? Basically, in Indian Railways, you see the difference. This is the line, right? This is a track, suppose. This is a track, railway track. So this distance, this perpendicular distance, this is the gauge. So you have broad gauge, narrow gauge, right? So gauge conversion basically is in the news. Let's see what is it. So Prime Minister has dedicated the gauge conversion of Bhuj Nalia rail line to the nation from Amreli in Gujarat via video conferencing. So Bhuj Nalia railway line ka gauge conversion has been allowed, and across this entire project they will be having 24 major bridges, 254 minor bridges, 3 road over bridges, 30 road under bridges. So the railway line is going to cross all these bridges, minor and as well as major. And if you see, the project in entirety is a crucial project in enhancing the socio-economic development of Kutch district of Gujarat. So this is going to help in socio-economic well-being of the Kutch district of Gujarat. Remember the railway line in news, the Bhuj Nalia railway line. Then we have next news in the series. Haryana government has announced the sale of certified wheat seeds at affordable rates, okay, for the upcoming Rabi season. So you know winter season is the Rabi season, where we sow the winter crops like wheat, gram, etc., etc., mustard, है ना? So Haryana government has announced this thing that they will be selling the certified wheat seeds at affordable rates so that the farmers can afford them. Also, the wheat production and the crop production does not get affected in the Rabi season. So Rabi season is basically going on which the state government will be providing a subsidy of 1000 rupee per quintal on these wheat seeds. 1000 rupee per quintal on these wheat seeds. Okay. Now next segment we have is international news. Let's see. In the international category, we have again BIMSTEC in news. So BIMSTEC has also organized a policy implementation workshop on climate change and humanitarian assistance, disaster relief in the Bay of Bengal. BIMSTEC recently we have discussed was in the news because of civil services training program, right? But now again we have BIMSTEC in news. So here you have BIMSTEC organizing policy implementation workshop on climate change, humanitarian assistance and disaster relief in the Bay of Bengal. It was organized in collaboration with your Institute for Peace and Conflict Studies and Center for Humanitarian Dialogue. The dates are 24th to 25th October. Remember what was the location? Location was Bangkok, Thailand. So at Bangkok it was organized. Basically, this was aimed to assess the humanitarian assistance, disaster relief guidelines in the Bay of Bengal region, etc., etc., and to further enhance the regional cooperation. Now, next in the international series, we have 56 Commonwealth countries adopted their first ocean declaration. So, your Commonwealth countries have adopted first ocean declaration. This is going to be important. Remember APIA, Commonwealth Ocean Declaration. Remember this, APIA, Commonwealth Ocean Declaration. They can ask you. So it basically belongs to your Commonwealth countries, 56 Commonwealth countries. APIA basically is a location, right? Is a place. So you have APIA Commonwealth Ocean Declaration during the 27th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. This APIA is a place in Samoa. Remember, this is basically related to ocean conservation, etc., etc. And remember, this meeting was first time held in the Pacific island nation of Samoa. Aim, as we have discussed, is to protect and restore the oceanic ecosystem, okay, in the face of severe climate change, pollution and impacts. As I told you, this APIA declaration is primarily related to ocean conservation, marine ecosystem conservation. The threats of climate change are there. So what are the key aspects of this declaration, APIA declaration? Remember, first thing, they will be focusing on the protection of at least 30% of the ocean and restoring at least 30% of the degraded marine ecosystem by 2030. So this is easy to remember. You just do look at this thing. The targeted year under this declaration is 2030 and the targets are also 30%, 30%. So at least protecting 30% of the marine ecosystem, also 30% restoring the damaged ecosystem, and that too by 2030. So 30, 30, 30 ka figure is there, will be easier for you to remember. Also, they are planning to urgently finalize a global plastics treaty. Okay, it has not been finalized yet, but they are planning to finalize it very soon. Also, the key aspect was ratification of high seas biodiversity agreement on marine biodiversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction. So they also will be ratifying this treaty, which talks about biodiversity conservation in the high seas, which does not fall under any country's jurisdiction. So in these areas as well, you need to have a proper defined treaty for the conservation of biodiversity in high seas. High seas does not come under any country's jurisdiction. That's why having a proper international treaty on high seas becomes important. Now moving on to MOUs and mergers. Let's see. So your election commission has signed an electoral cooperation agreement with Uzbekistan's central poll body during a visit of Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar to Tashkent. Okay, and this is going to strengthen and deepen interaction between the two election management bodies. Then we have GAIL India Limited and Verbio. GAIL India Limited and Verbio India Private Limited, they have signed an MOU to explore the establishment of compressed biogas plant utilizing agricultural residue. They are planning to establish a compressed biogas plant where they will be utilizing the agricultural residue, okay, for promoting sustainable energy and for meeting the nationally determined contributions targets which we have. Then we have Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade, your DPIIT, and HCL Software has formed a strategic partnership to transform the startup manufacturing ecosystem. So this is basically going to, they have partnered to transform startup ecosystem. Just remember that, not so much important. This much will be sufficient. Then you have YouTube has launched its shopping affiliate program in India, allowing creators to tag products from your e-commerce platforms like Flipkart, Myntra in their videos, shorts and live streams, which will enable viewers to make direct purchases through these e-commerce platforms. So this is going to be started in India, where you can tag all these e-commerce platforms. Viewers are going to benefit out of it. You can directly purchase them. So this is going to benefit creators in their revenue generation, plus going to benefit the viewers having simplified product discovery. Then in the international category, we have something really important. So your ISRO and Department of Biotechnology have inked an agreement to design and conduct experiments which are going to be integrated in the Bharatiya Antariksha Station. So you know, India is planning to have its own international space station. International space station basically helps you in further research and space related research and innovation, right? So India is planning to have its own international space station, which is going to be there about 2028 to 2035. This is the target, right? The name will be Bharatiya Antariksha Station, as I told you. It is to take shape from 2028 to 2035. So they are trying to experiment a lot of things, and then they will be integrating it with the final mission of Bharati Antariksha Station. If you remember, we have covered this thing in the cabinet approvals. When we have covered this thing in the cabinet approval, we have dealt with this in great depth. So you must be knowing about the Bharati Antariksha Station. Also, we have covered number of times Bio E3. Bio E3. It was also in the cabinet approvals covered recently, I think previous month only. So please remember, Bio E3 policy is also going to be important. It is also going to be important for your upcoming examinations. Bio E3 is constantly in news, where we have a target of making a bio economy. So Bio E3 is a game changer in the field of biotech and would be leading our national bioeconomy in terms of $300 billion of value by 2030. This is the target. So $300 billion of bioeconomy India has to have by 2030. Bio E3. Biotechnology for economy, environment and employment. Then we have Karnataka Renewable Energy Development Limited has signed an MOU with University of South Wales in Australia. This is to enhance the capacity and help startups, etc. utilize these state-of-the-art technology and expertise for clean energy transition. Then in the science tech, we have Union Minister of State for Science and Technology informing that India will have its own space station by 2035, as we have already discussed, which will be known as Bharati Antariksha Station. So we have discussed this thing a lot number of times. So remember, the time period is 2028 to 2035. It is expected to be in shape. And for this, some MOU has been signed between your Indian Space and Research Organization and Department of Biotechnology. So there has been an MOU for this purpose between ISRO and Department of Biotech. Then we have ISRO chairman as Somanath has disclosed that a joint moon landing mission with Japan Space Agency JAXA, originally named as LUPEX. We have covered LUPEX also in the previous current affairs. The lunar polar exploration would be Chandrayaan 5 mission. So this is going to be a joint mission between India and Japan Space Agency. Remember that. Chandrayaan 5 is going to be a joint land mission between Japan and India. And exact dates are not, they have not been declared, but the expected dates are after Chandrayaan 4. Also, we have Gaganyaan, the manned space mission, to be there, much awaited. So, it's also revealed that Gaganyaan is likely to be there by 2026, and sample return mission of Chandrayaan 4 in 2028, and much delayed India-US joint NISAR mission in the finally is going to be there finally in the next year. So after all these missions, you are going to have Chandrayaan 5. Remember, it is going to be a joint collaboration between ISRO as well as JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency. Also in the line, we have all these missions, the Gaganyaan, Chandrayaan 4, etc., etc. Right? Now moving into the defense section, you have RPF, the Railway Protection Force, a paramilitary force which is under the Indian Railways, has launched Digital Memorial of Valor. Remember, RPF has recently launched a digital memorial of valor. Now, this is for what? The aim is to honor the sacrifices of RPF's courageous personnel, and it was launched on 25th October 2024. It is a digital platform where your citizens can pay their respects to the martyrs of these forces for their sacrifices. So remember the name Digital Memorial of Valor, and this is the website www.digitalmemorialofvalor.in. It is also part of the Martyrs Week being observed following the Police Commemoration Day on 21st October. So remember, this is related to RPF, the Digital Memorial of Valor, and this is the website. We don't have much in defense category. Now moving on to indices and rankings. So first one we have is World Justice Project Rule of Law Index 2024. World Justice Project Rule of Law Index 2024. This published by WJP. Under this rule of law index, which country has topped? Remember, it is again the Scandinavian country. You have Denmark. Denmark has secured the first rank in the overall ranking, followed by Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Germany. So in the rule of law index, you have Denmark at the first rank, followed by again Scandinavian countries. So you have Norway, Finland, Sweden, and then you have Germany. What is the rank of India also becomes important. India stands at 79 out of 142 countries assessed for this index, right? So remember India's rank, India stands at 79. India stands at 79. Please remember this. India stands at 79. And this index basically focuses on these broad 8 factors like constraints on government powers, absence of corruption, how much is absence of corruption, how much open your government is, what is the scenario of fundamental rights in your country, what is the status of order and security, regulatory enforcements, civil justice, criminal justice. These are the broad 8 pillars. Remember India's rank 79 and the top country is Denmark and the worst performers are Venezuela and Cambodia. Then you have the NVIDIA software company has dethroned Apple as world's most valuable company. So it has become world's most valuable company, replacing erstwhile Apple on this position. Its market value has touched almost $3.53 trillion. Then Apple is second, so Microsoft is third. Then you have Alphabet at fourth and Amazon at fifth. Then we have United Nations Environment Programme Emissions Gap Report. According to this Emissions Gap Report 2024 of the UNEP, among major economies, India in financial year 2023 recorded the steepest increase in greenhouse gas emission. India has recorded one of the fastest increase in greenhouse gas emission, climbing 6.1%, okay, with China being close at 5.2%. What was the report? Report was no more hot air please. Report was no more hot air please. Okay. The specific title of the report was no more hot air please. So remember, India has seen the steepest increase in greenhouse gas emissions among all the major economies. While if you look at the greenhouse gas emission for EU and US, GHG emission for both EU as well as the USA has declined by 7.5% and 1.4% respectively. So their emissions have declined, but India's emission has increased. But despite this rise, 2023 GHG emission for India remains relatively low at 4140 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent against China's 16,000 and US's 5,970. So although we have added, but we are still have added lesser than the counterparts like China and USA. So you can remember these data. Then we have a report of SBI, State Bank of India. According to this report, according to SBI report, a cumulative 74.2% decline in income disparity coverage for those earning up to rupees 5 lakh annually between fiscal year 2013-14 and 22-23 is there. So income disparities have reduced basically. The SBI report says income disparities are reducing. If you look at the 2013-14 levels, so when we compare from the 2013-14 levels and look at the present value, the income disparities are on a declining trend, which is a 74.2% decline in income disparity coverage. This is for those earning up to rupees 5 lakh annually. If you look at the individual data sets under this, people with income up to rupees 3.5 lakhs annually, the share in income disparity has reduced for them. Lower income group, that is from less than 5.5 lakh, has registered a positive growth rate for all the years. Then you have states like Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat and Karnataka, which have been traditional leaders in income tax base. It has, now this is something important. We have an important observation here. You just remember these trends, that the income disparity has reduced, right? But what do we have here is, that earlier states like Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat, Karnataka, they were having higher ITR base. That means a lot of people from these states, maximum people from these states, they filed the income tax return. But now these states, they are closer to the ITR saturation. So you have other states performing well. Now they are not adding to the ITR filing as substantially as they used to earlier, right? So you have people being added in the income tax base as well because of reducing income disparities. That means people are earning quite good, right? So that's why they are getting added in the ITR or the income tax base. So ITR filing from other states like Uttar Pradesh has risen as compared to the traditional states which used to provide the highest number of ITR filers. So remember, Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat and Karnataka, they are nearing the saturation ITR filing, and their share in overall tax file base is decreasing continuously. So overall tax file base mein their share is decreasing, but then whose is rising? So UP is emerging as the new leader. Remember, UP is emerging as the new leader. Uttar Pradesh is leading and increasing its share in income tax file base. So income tax file basement share is increasing. After UP, you have Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan. So these are the new emerging states in terms of ITR filing, according to the SBI report. Remember that. So there are a lot of factors responsible for these kind of achievements. You see these states, alignment of the tax policies, making the tax filing easier and easy to comply with, digitized, etc., etc. People earning a good handsome amount of income, reducing the income tax slabs, not the number, the amount I'm telling, right? So targeting broad income base by even targeting the lower income tax slab. The government is trying to expand the income tax base. That's why you see these states, they are trying to perform well. They are actually performing well. And the erstwhile traditional performers, they are witnessing a decline in the ITR filing. Lot of tax reforms like in income tax, online assessment, etc. You need not face the tax authorities. So canons of taxation basically are being easier. What are canons of taxation? These are virtues or values of taxation which any administration, tax administration should have. Like it should be easy to comply with, right? Canon of economy, that your cost which you incur on establishing the taxation department, paying them the salary, should be less than what you are able to get in terms of tax revenue. This is canon of economy. You can write these terms down. Canon of economy means that suppose you have established a taxation department, you're paying out salaries, etc. That cost should be less than what you are earning as tax revenue, right? Otherwise, there's no point of having a tax authority. So these kind of virtues should be there. Government is constantly working on that. That's why you see the results, right? This was the report. I hope this is clear. Remember, UP performing well, performing as a leader, then followed by Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab and Rajasthan. Now moving on to awards and books. So you have Bhubaneswar, Odisha, winning the city with the best public transport system award, while Srinagar has won the city with the best non-motorized transport system at the 17th Urban Mobility India Conference and Exhibition 2024 at Mahatma Mandir, Gandhinagar, Gujarat. So remember, Bhubaneswar has won the city with the best public transport system, and Srinagar with city with the best non-motorized transportation system. Total 12 categories this award has been provided. You have different categories and there are different winners. Okay. So you have city with most sustainable transport system is Kochi, then city with the best public transport system Bhubaneswar, city with best non-motorized transportation system is Srinagar, city with best safety and security system is Gandhinagar, then your city with best intelligent transport system Surat, and city with most innovative financing mechanism Jammu, then you have city with best record of public involvement in your transportation is Bangalore. Then again you have Bangalore in another category which has metro rail with the best multimodal integration. Then you have metro rail with best passenger services and satisfaction is Mumbai. These are the 12 categories. And remember, the 18th Urban Mobility Conference and Exhibition 2025 is going to be held in Gurugram, Haryana. Okay, and this was the 17th one. So 18th one is going to be there in the upcoming year. Location will be Gurugram, Haryana. Then again, this is very, very important. So you have RBI Governor Shaktikant Das has again been ranked as top central bank governor or central banker by US-based Global Finance magazine, and this is the second consecutive year he has bagged this title, right? So last year also RBI Governor Shaktikant Das was ranked as the top central banker. This time again you have the RBI Governor as top central banker by US-based Global Finance magazine. Remember this, and he has been placed at the top of the list of 3 central bank governors who have been rated A+. Others are your Denmark's Christian Cattle Thompson, and then you have Switzerland's Thomas Jordan. They have also been there in the top 3 list. Now this ranking basically is provided for central bankers' ability in inflation control. How much have you been able as a central bank governor in containing the inflation within your desirable limits? I hope you must be knowing the desirable limit presently for India is 4 plus minus 2%, right? Inflation control, economic goals, currency stability, how much stability in the currency value have been able to establish, and then interest rate management, etc. A plus is quite excellent performance. Then you have SBI recognized as the best bank in India for 2024 by Global Finance magazine of US. So by the same magazine, you have SBI recognized as the best bank in India. Remember, this is also going to be very, very important 2024. And that's why the chairman of SBI also becomes important. So remember, present chairman is CS Shetty. Okay, CS Shetty. Then in the festivals, we have celebration of Ganga Utsav 2024 organized by National Mission for Clean Ganga on November 4 at Chandi Ghat in Haridwar. Okay, this is 8th edition, and this basically commemorates this event every year to mark the anniversary of Ganga, declaring the Ganga river as the national river. This is basically organized to mark the anniversary of declaring Ganga river as the national river. Also promoting the conservation of Ganga river, highlighting its cultural and spiritual significance along with raising public awareness. So this was the 8th edition of Ganga Utsav. Remember, November 4. Then we have the sports news. In the sports news, you have the MP Tejasvi Surya. So Member of Parliament Tejasvi Surya has completed the Ironman 70.3 challenge held in Goa. It included 3 broad challenges, which is swimming, cycling and running. Then you have Indian tennis player Yashaswini Korpade and Kritvika Roy has clinched women's doubles title at the World Table Tennis FIDE Cagliari 2024 Table Tennis Tournament in Italy. So remember, they have clinched women's double titles and they have defeated their South Korean counterparts. Then you have Indian chess player Arjun has crossed 2800 mark in the live chess rating. And this milestone has been achieved by him during the 2024 European Chess Club Cup. Remember. And that's why becomes second player from the country. That's how becomes second player from the country after to cross the threshold. Okay. Now you have Japan Para Badminton International 2024. India's star shuttler Sukant Kadam has won a gold medal in men's singles and silver medal in men's doubles alongside his partner Dinesh Rajai. So remember, at Japan Para Badminton International 2024, India's star shuttler Sukant Kadam has won a gold medal in men's single category, and in men's double category has won silver medal. Okay, in the doubles category he was accompanied by Dinesh Rajaya. Then you have squash mein. In squash, India's Akanksha Salunke has clinched women's single title at second International Women's Open of Kozix 2024 in France. So remember, Akanksha Salunke has clinched women's singles title at the second International Women's Open of Kozix in France, defeating Yashmita Jagdish Kumar of USA. Okay. Then you have from India, Abhishek has clinched bronze medal at the Under-23 Wrestling World Championship 2024 in Tirana, Albania, defeating Mikhail Abramov of Ukraine in men's 61 kg freestyle category. Who has bagged the gold? Gold has been bagged by Bashir Mogobev, and remaining medals you can go through them. Then we have Indian table tennis player Manika Batra made history by becoming the first Indian table tennis player to reach top 8 at the WTT Champions Montpellier 2024 tournament in France. So remember, Manika Batra has made history. She has become the first Indian table tennis player. This really becomes important. She has become the first Indian table tennis player to reach top 8 at the WTT Champions event in France, but has lost 3-0 to China's Qian Tia in the quarterfinals, but still made history. So please remember this. Then we have Ducati's Enia won the sprint at the Thailand Grand Prix to claim his second sprint victory of the season ahead of World Championship. So you have 2-3 news here important, like that of Manika Batra. Then you have Akanksha Salunke winning the women's singles titles. These news are important, you can remember them. We have although discussed all of them. Now moving on to certain appointments, let's see. You have Anant Nath, editor of the Karwan, was declared elected unopposed as President of Editors Guild of India for the second consecutive term. So Anant Nath is the President of the Editors Guild of India for consecutively for second time. Then you have Deepak Agarwal, IS officer, has been appointed as the MD, National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation of India, NAFED. Then you have Subodh Kumar Singh appointed as Additional Secretary in a Steel Ministry. Talking about conferences, so you have something important here. Prime Minister has gifted Jharkhand's art, Sohrai painting, remember. So this can be asked, Sohrai painting belongs to Jharkhand. Jharkhand's art, Sohrai painting, to Russian President during the recent 16th BRICS Summit in Kazan, right? This has been given by Prime Minister to Russian President. If we look about the Sohrai painting, it is a mural art form, okay, mural art form. And particularly in Jharkhand, you have the Hazaribagh region has received the GI tag for this art form as well. So this is a geographical indication tag product, GI tag. right? So Hazaribagh in Jharkhand has received GI tag for this particular product, mural art form, which is Sohrai painting. Prime Minister has also gifted some exquisite works from Maharashtra to the leaders of Iran and Uzbekistan, and then has gifted a mother of pearl seashell vase to the president of Iran, which is a masterpiece again. Then we have a Varli painting. So Varli painting, you must be knowing, comes from Maharashtra. Like this, you have Varli painting, these kind of paintings, right? Varli painting, you have the background with a brick color, and then these images are crafted with a white color. This is Varli painting. This has been given. So Varli is a tribal art from Varli tribe it belongs to, and it is also primarily located in your Dhanau, Talsari and Palgad regions of the state of Maharashtra. So remember, Varli art and the Jharkhand art, Sohrai painting are in new. Then we have 11th edition of Asia Clean Energy Summit was held in Singapore. Remember, 11th edition of Asia Clean Energy Summit, Singapore May 22-24 October it was held, and the theme this year was Future of Net Zero Implementation. Future of Net Zero Implementation for the Net Zero Emissions target. It was co-organized by your Energy Research Institute and the Solar Energy Research Institute of Singapore. Remember, Singapore is the location. Theme is Future of Net Zero Implementation. Then in the obituaries, we have celebrated Gusadi folk dance master and recipient of Padma Shri Award, Kanak Raju, has died at 84 due to age-related issues. Then we have renowned physicist Rohini Madhusudan has passed away, and she has dedicated her life to increase women's participation in the field of science and inspiring girls to become scientists. So she has been a prominent figure. Then we have certain important days. So you have Run for Unity going to be, or it was held on the Rashtriya Ekta Divas, the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel on 29th October. Run for Unity. Remember Rashtriya Ekta Divas? The birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Iron Man of India. It is celebrated as Rashtriya Ekta Divas. Then we have October month observed as International Dyslexia Awareness Month. Now, what is this dyslexia? Dyslexia is a condition where the person has difficulty in understanding the word, the written words, numbers, right? Comprehending them. So this is a condition called as dyslexia. This is to raise awareness among the public regarding dyslexia. So remember, the month of October, the entire month of October is celebrated as the International Dyslexia Awareness Month to raise awareness. And this was observed at Rashtrapati Bhavan, etc., Parliament, India Gate. These locations, they have been literate to observe this day, right? Also, to amplify the message of inclusion for the people having this condition of dyslexia, making them very much inclusive and mainstream with the mainstream society, the Walk for Dyslexia has also been organized from Vijay Chowk to India Gate. Walk for Dyslexia has also been organized. Then we have Infantry Day. The Infantry Day observed on 27th October, remember, to acknowledge the contributions of infantry, which is the largest fighting arm of Indian Army. Then you have NDMA, the National Disaster Management Authority, celebrating its 20th Foundation Day on 28th October. So 28th October, recently NDMA has celebrated its Formation Day or Foundation Day. And the theme for 2024 of their Formation Day was empowering communities for disaster risk reduction through awareness for behavioral change. This was the theme for this year's Formation Day. Then we have World Day for Audiovisual Heritage, observed annually on October 27 for safeguarding the preservation of moving images. So this is basically World Day of Audiovisual Heritage. Audiovisual heritage. Recognizing the importance of audiovisual heritage is celebrated on 27th October. The theme for this year 2024, remember, is Your Window to the World. This was the theme, Your Window to the World, for World Audiovisual Heritage Day, 27th October, and the theme was Your Window to the World. If you can read the October compilation, please go through it. If you feel you don't have enough time, then going through the MCQs will be sufficient, right? Although it would be better if you go through the October month's compilation at least. All right. So that was it for today's class. I hope all of them is clear. We are covering all the news comprehensively and extensively. If you still have any doubt, you can always ask me. I'm waiting for any doubts if you have. Otherwise, I'll end this session here. Yes. Any doubts? Any questions from today's session? Anyone? No doubts? All right then. Thank you so much. Please keep on revising all these important news. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next class with the next set of current affairs. Till then, have a great day. See you in the next class. Thank you.